I am Vinnie Totterich. Folks, your good intentions have been stolen, but don't worry. I'm here to help you get them back. You may be soft and succulent at the beginning of this process, but hang in there. Before long, you will be lean and mean. Guaranteed, just like the woman on the other mic, the beautiful Miss Anna Vocino. Yeah. Yeah. That's right, Anna. That's how I'm feeling today. Those lyrics.
Okay.
Okay. That's how I'm feeling right now. Thank you, Ian Anderson. Fucking so pissed off. I'm so mad right now. I almost can't do a podcast.
You're not supposed to be mad. You're supposed to be healing your body.
I know what I'm supposed to be doing, but when we can't talk about what we want to talk about because it's going to piss off somebody down in Alabama, it pisses me off. That's where I am today. Call your daddy and tell him to move out of that state. I'm done.
He's not going to move. He's over there trying to help.
Yeah. Oh, God. Look, folks, I'm sorry. Ann and I had a discussion off the air about a subject that it's like, do we bring the subject up? Do we touch the third rail? What do we do in the whole thing? And ultimately, we decided not to. And then, I got to click the mic and go, okay, let's be fun, Anna and Vinnie. So we don't piss off anybody. And, it's all about getting canceled and everything else. And I try not to worry about that kind of stuff. Right. I always try to bring the truth and how I feel about things. But sometimes it turns out we just can't tell everything we want to say and do in the whole thing because, quite frankly, I get canceled enough. I mean, right now, I'm wondering if I'm being canceled by Amazon. It's the 12th. Now, hopefully by the time this comes out, because last Monday's show came out on the 11th, or what was that? When was Monday? The 10th. And we were going, hey, the movie's out by now. It's got to be out.
Right.
The movie was supposed to be out on the 30th.
Right.
Right.
That's got to be so frustrating.
We're recording this on the 12th. So now we're what? 13 days behind?
Mm-hmm.
Where's my movie, Amazon? I did my part. I spent a shit ton of money and I got it uploaded. I did everything I was supposed to do. Where's my movie, Amazon?
Do they have to check it through like their legal department or something? Like what's the delay? Do they say?
I've talked to other people, even my good friend Peter Pardini, who I did my first documentary with, who was on a Friday show. I think that Friday show was last week. I was like, Peter, you've done a lot of movies yourself for other people and you've put them up on Amazon. Have they ever gone past when they said nope, they're always early. They're always early.
That's crazy. Is it because you're doing it independently and not through?
No, he's done them independently. He's done them independently.
Oh, okay.
We went through all of all the machinations and everything. Nothing. Yeah. Nothing. And all I do is seek the truth. All I want to do is put the truth out there. And no. I used to always complain in Hollywood. I couldn't get anything on television because they're gatekeepers. And now I feel like we're bumping up against gatekeepers again. And that's what drives me nuts. When they start censoring guys like me, well, where now is, when people go, oh, well, what are you doing going on those alternate things? Do you go on Dennis Prager and this and that? Because they will have me. Okay? If the other assholes would have me, I'd be over there. I'm not calling Dennis an asshole. But no one else will have me. Adam Carolla will have me. I'm not calling him an asshole either, even though he's kind of an asshole. But I love that guy. Mike Rowe will have me. Right?
I think most of America would agree that Mike Rowe is not an asshole.
No, he's beloved.
He's very beloved.
Beloved. But the bottom line is what am I doing other than telling the truth? Am I that scary?
I don't even think you're telling like that crazy of a truth. Like, what are you saying that's so contrarian?
Well, I use
processed foods. I
go after the industry again. And we know that when I start yelling, my dog thinks I'm upset. Hey, Bonzo, it's okay.
It's okay, Bonzo. How's Trixie? You need to stare at Trixie for a little while and have a cuddle.
Trixie, all right. She's in her little dog run upstairs while I do this. We built a little dog run in the kitchen.
So she can just.
Poddington calls
Work it
it
out.
the Taj Mahal.
Don Connington's Friday, 5 o'clock.
He calls it the Taj Mahal. I heard some rattling going on up there, and I looked. Trixie's halfway down the stairs coming down to my office. I'm like,
She busted out.
okay, not only do I have the doggy door with the doggy locks and everything hooked and everything,
Mm-hmm.
I also have 2 carabiners locking her in.
This dog has opposable thumbs.
She got out. It's like, what are
She
you,
got out.
Beanie?
She did it. That's
She got out.
Trixie.
I looked at her, I went, you got to be effing me.
I mean, the difference between but small dogs have the very small brains, but they're also very devious.
Oh, God. I mean,
The big dogs have a bigger brain, but they're big and dumb.
Bonzo, did you hear that?
Don't tell Bonzo what I said. He doesn't need to know.
I'll go, Anna doesn't like you.
No, that's not true.
Yes.
I just said he's dumb, and I mean it in the best possible way.
No, but he knows how to open that door too. Like, I'll leave her treats in there because she doesn't eat all of her treats right away. If I
Yeah.
take her out, Bonzo just lay there
Oh, he'll get it.
sleeping. Oh, nothing. I'm just sleeping. And then you'll go up there and the cage is wide open and the treats are gone. That's the reason I did the carabiners,
Right.
because I figured Bonzo can't handle the carabiners.
Well,
Right.
well, he's learning from Trixie, who's obviously
You know,
springing out of prison.
next time I'm on a mountain and I need carabiners to save my life, it's like, where are my carabiners? Because they're on a dog crate somewhere.
That's right.
Yeah.
You're screwed.
Yeah, I better make sure I get those carabiners back. Anyway, Anna, yeah, no, it just ticks me off
I know.
because you know what I want to talk about, and we're not going to talk about it. You know, it's too much of a third rail. Anyway,
What are the first 2 rails?
well, those are the ones
What's the
that.
third rail?
Do you not know what the third rail mean?
No.
It's the one with the electric power. So if you look at a
Oh.
how you say, like a subway track,
Yeah.
you
There's
have
the 2
two
on the
rails,
bottom and the 1 on the top.
wheels go on,
Right.
right? And then there's the middle rail, and that's the one, that slides on. That's the third rail. That's why people that want to commit suicide throw themselves on the third rail, and it electrocutes them to death. You can't
Cool.
touch the third rail. It's live, right?
Yeah.
So you never knew what that meant, huh?
No.
Now you do.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. Yeah, this podcast is about education and learning. See, I'm a teacher, Anna,
I know.
and I'm a giver. Mm-hmm.
Can I ask you a question from a listener?
No, not yet.
Okay.
For the past 3 weeks, Serena, she was supposed to be gone 2 weeks. It was extended to 3 weeks.
Yeah.
As much as I love you, Anna, and I love your powders,
Mm-hmm.
she needs to get her ass home.
Yeah, you tired of the same things over and over again.
All right, one night is fish, the next night is meat, the next night is fish, the next night is meat. And you'll go, what's wrong with that? Because that's what we have every night, right? I'm a one-trick pony.
Yeah.
Right? If I bring home the ground beef, I'm putting the taco powder on it. I'm having an avocado with it. I'm going to crush up a tomato, and I sit there and eat that.
Yeah.
Fish, I got so sick of eating salmon, I started buying anything white. Like if cod was on sale. Wait, did I say cod?
It's the billionaire Don Connington's Friday, 5 o'clock.
So, I went to cod for a while. I found some sea bass on sale. It was still expensive. I'm so sick of the same flavors over and over and over. I can't take it. I need Serena back because she's so good at it.
Right.
And,
This is where it'd be really helpful if you could just read a recipe.
I could. And
You could. I mean, I know you could, but you don't want to. I get it.
no, it's not that I don't want to. Like, you've taught me things, like you taught me how to make eggnog.
Mm-hmm.
You gave me a step-by-step.
Well, that's basically how to make a custard. Yeah.
Yeah. And, you've taught me things. But usually I podcast in the evenings because that's when the Friday people can podcast, and I got to feed the dogs at a certain time. I know
what you didn't do.
What?
You didn't get the shrimp and the crema and the red pepper flakes. You could have had done that.
I could have. You see, now you tell me. But yeah, You see, you get caught up. It's
This
like,
is why I constantly post things on all the socials to get because
man,
what you're talking about is what everybody goes through. Everybody
I
gets
know, but
bored.
I get what people, they're like, oh, I don't have, I'm so trapped with, I'm trying to keep a puppy in line. I got Bonzo. I'm doing all this stuff. I do the podcast. I'm trying to make sure people get their vitamins and on and on and on.
Right.
And then I'll forget to eat, right? I'll have several eggs for breakfast. I'll work out at some point in the morning when I have time. And then before you know it, it's like dinner time. I feed the animals. I come back. I do another podcast. And I look around. It's like, oh, it's 7:00. I run out to the store and just grab, give me that piece of fish or give me that, and just come back home and scorch it up and eat it. And that's just been. I think I've lost weight. Do I look like I've lost weight?
You might have.
The chemo makes me lose weight and all that.
Yeah. Do you think the
Hey,
chemo makes you less hungry?
no,
Makes
yeah.
you lose your appetite, right?
You know what, folks? We took a different drug. We took GLP-1s to lose weight. Go take yourself some chemo. You see, that's
Yeah.
crazy when you say that, right?
Right.
Sounds great. But that's what we're doing. We're taking drugs off label to go do all this crazy stuff. So knock yourself out. But yeah, I think I've lost some weight. God, I'm so weak in the gym. I'm able to pump iron again a little bit.
Yeah. That's good. You're able to lift.
I'm not pumping a lot of iron. It's amazing, when that chemo's in your bones and, you forget how much it ravishes your body. I was able to do aerobics through the whole thing and whatnot.
That's good.
And it's really ravished me and really weak, like really weak in the gym. So at any rate, look, some people do chemo and look, I was in that chemo center every day. I was just there the other day. I still have to go in and do blood draws every week and what have you. And the bottom line is that there are a lot of people way sicker than me. There are people that I know this is the end of their life. There's this beautiful Asian woman. I see her every time I go in. She's in the wheelchair, no eyebrows, no hair, the whole, and it kills me because she's young. She's young. I see that woman every single time and it breaks my heart. It just breaks my heart. I hope whatever she has, she gets out. There's another young man I see every time. He can't be any more than 18 or 20. Every time I see the same people in the infusion center, and I realize just how fucking lucky I am that I'm able to come in, get my infusions, and I have enough energy to do something stupid like get on a spinner or my rower. I realize how lucky I am that, they can knock this back every time it comes in. But man, cancer is just this crazy thing. My younger brother just went through it. That was rough. He had stage 3 or stage 4 colorectal cancer. He had to get zapped and he had to take the chemical chemo. And after they were able to figure out that that was all done and they got that arrested, then they had to cut his colon out and he's on the shit bag for the rest of his life. He's got the colostomy bag for the rest of his life. That's just the reality. Cancer in and of itself sucks like nobody's business. And it's not fun. And I feel very lucky. And I even feel weird about complaining that my strength is zapped because that's the worst thing that's going to happen to me. I saw where my blood numbers are coming back this week. My neutrophils are almost back to normal, which means if I get some kind of infection, I won't die from it. My red blood cells are still in the tank, not good. But my white blood cells have come up. Another good sign, right? That the chemo is killing the cancer. So that's all good and fine. But man, it is, I guess, I'm upset today and I'm talking and I'm just unloading things and I hope you guys don't mind because this is just the way I feel. I came on the show today. That was something I wanted to talk about. I brought it up to Anna before the mics went hot. We literally went back and forth for 10 or 15 minutes and decided ultimately don't touch the subject. And so we didn't. But it pisses me off when you can't be straight, when you can't be totally straight with people because no matter what you do, you're going to upset some people when you talk about certain things, that third rail thing that I was just talking to you guys about. So if I seem a little off today, that's what's going on. Now, if you've noticed, I've been doing a monologue here for just several minutes. Anna waved to me and said that she had to do a phone call. So she's been doing that phone call, and that's why I went into a little monologue here. And but I'm hoping you guys understand. I'm hoping you understand. I might as well tell you this while we're waiting for Anna. Oh, there she is. I was getting ready to get into a Villa Capelli ad because I was vamping for long enough. Anna, do you get everything taken care of?
Sure. Yeah.
Okay.
Apologies, everybody. I hate to miss the show because, believe it or not, even if it doesn't sound like Vinny and I are having fun, it's way more fun than the regular bullshit that we have to deal with every day.
Yeah, I went through and talked about cancer a little bit, about what it's
Okay,
like
good.
at the cancer center and the whole thing, because it's on my mind. That was
Yeah.
on my mind anyway, because I went for a blood draw, and you see the people, like, I know I'm going to make it. I know that. There are people that are going to die.
know.
I see some of the same people every day. The ones, as I said, they're in the kind of chemo where you lose eyebrows and hair and everything, and
Yeah.
it's just
Do you think some of your head hair fell out?
fucking unfair. It's falling out because
Or-
I'm um,
But can't you notice like if there's more coming out or not?
no, I don't because my hair,
Then
I've
you probably
busted
lose
down.
any.
I
Yeah, you
busted
did buzz it
down,
down.
so that if some of it does fall out, I don't have clumps falling out. It's just
Yeah.
a little short. So I've been keeping it buzzed through this whole thing. Luckily, I don't care about hair
You
at
do
all.
not.
No,
I have a theory on the documentary
please.
that it's all going to time out the way it's supposed to. It's all going to be okay in the end.
And I keep going back to Eat Happy 2, where you got literally fucked by Amazon,
Yes.
and you got all this money out there, and
Thousands of orders canceled.
yeah, they just cancel thousands of orders, and arguably Eat Happy 2 is better than Eat
Yeah,
Happy.
for sure. I
Yet
agree.
Eat
Yep.
Happy is sold a gazillion more bucks than Eat Happy
That's right.
2.
That's right.
So yeah, it's arguably, we use that book, I think, more than Eat Happy.
Yeah.
And it's still out there. People can still order that book, right?
Oh yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, it's totally available. And I mean, listen, that's just normal. Eat Happy Italian will be even better than Eat Happy 2. And I'm working on a fourth one. And I want to do a revised and updated Eat Happy 1. So I'll put the first one out of print and do a revised and updated one. But yeah, no, it's so frustrating. But I have the feeling that it's going to time out the way it's supposed to time out, because I also know that there's some press things that you're going to be doing, and maybe it's all going to time out at the right time. You know what I'm saying?
Well, look, I ended up booking Mike Rowe
Okay. I
somewhere.
didn't want to say, I wasn't sure if you were allowed to say it yet, but
No, I can say it. Chuck and I have been talking, and they've been waiting to see when I can fly, and I got the all okie dokie to fly.
great.
So we're going to do that in July, and if it's not up by July,
Where is that based out of LA?
yeah, I'm going to have to come into LA. So hopefully you and I can see each other.
That would be awesome.
I'm also this is a pipe dream, because I was just telling everyone I'm still weak. My red blood cells hadn't come back yet, but a friend of mine, I'm not going to say his name, is going to be in Lone Pine, and he's got a climbing permit.
I
And
know who that is. I know who it is.
you want to take a guess at who it is?
Go ahead and play the clip.
No, take a guess at who it is.
It's Don Coddington.
It's the billionaire Don Connington's Friday 5 o'clock.
So, yeah, if I can make it there,
You
and
can
get
make it anywhere.
wait, hang on, I'm choking.
Oh, he's doing the. That's
Okay, could you hear me when I was choking, or did I cut
no,
the-
no. That was you. You hit the cough button right at the right time.
Yeah. So, yeah, I'm going to try to make it there, and if I can only make it to 10,000 feet or 11,000 feet, wherever I'm not going to try to be a hero, but they're going to be out there, and I want to get on. I want to go
Hey, you
hike
want to go
in
too?
nature. Yeah.
Do you drive up the 101 to get there?
No, you go up
Oh,
the well, yeah,
the
you drive
5.
up the 101, and then you get on 5, and then you go to 14, and then you get on the 3.
No, 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 no.
Yeah.
I'm up the 101 up past Santa Barbara.
No, we don't go that way. As a matter of fact, anyone that wants
But you
to ski,
should.
anyone that wants to ski from your area, you can't get across that You would have to come down to LA and then go up the
There's you cut across the 150 to the 5. You go through basically the Lake Casitas, like the back of Ojai, to get over to the 5. It's a pain in
yeah
the ass, but you can do it.
yeah. You could do
The
it that
14,
way.
yeah.
Yeah, but it's still a very long trip.
It's a
Where
long trip,
yeah,
but it's
where
beautiful. But
it
it's
is.
long.
I
Yeah.
used to do that. That was my training ride. I would take that back road
That's
all
a
the way to
great
Korea.
cycling ride.
Yeah,
Yep.
it was about 120 miles from my house to Carpinteria, so it
Wow.
was about a 240-mile round trip whenever I did that.
Wow.
Yeah, yeah. So, anyway, I feel like I've been complaining this whole time. It's just wrong.
Well, you're entitled. Let me ask you a fitness
No,
question before we talk about Villa Capelli.
yeah.
Great. Jim asks, lifting question, because you're talking about lifting. At age 60, actively lifting since age 12, 5'6", 138 to 140 pounds. My schedule is Monday through Friday, alternating body parts daily. Losing a bit of size and strength this year. Also, I seem to be injuring bicep tendons. I do work a rather physically active job in the building trades industry. I no longer do big weight. Slow, methodical sets, 3 per exercise, usually 8 different exercises per session. My main concern is the increasing tendon strain. Thanks for all the two of you do. Bond girls rock. Thanks, Jim.
Wow. Bond girls
And
do.
a shout out for Serena, too.
Yeah. Um, Jim, we're about the same age, and we've been lifting weights for about the same amount of time. And the one thing I'm noticing as I get older, and I notice this for my other friends who are in the same boat, Dave the kayaker, aforementioned, I'm not going to play it again, but my other buddy. There are a lot of guys who are my age that still work out, and we all notice that we need more rest time, right? I I take longer time, so if I do a push day, I won't do another push day for at least 4 days. I'll come back with a pull day, and then I won't do another pull day for 4 days, and then I'll do a leg day, and then that's all done for 4. Hit it and quit it. You have to give yourself more rest time. You will, our strength diminishes as we get older. I'm getting weaker and weaker, and I hear this from all of my friends. Now, whenever you see guys online going, I'm 62 and I used to look like this, and now I look like this ripped up. Those guys are taking hormones. Uh,
Mm.
not, I don't agree with it. I think it's that's going down a bad road. Can you beat sarcopenia back with hormones and heavy lifting? Absolutely. But you think your tendons are having problems now with your bicep tendons, and you probably have some tendinosis in there. If you think it's bad now, start using hormones. And even if it's TRT or whatever, testosterone replacement therapy, even as doctor, this is very safe and whole thing. I've seen more guys tearing more tendons and everything else.
What's
Somehow
the difference between tendinitis and tendinosis? Because since you're talking about tendons and the tearing of the bone.
tendinitis is acute and it happens, and you if you rest it, you can make it go away. Tendinosis is the chronic form of it, where it's
Oh,
just there and it goes on and on and on. Never go.
okay.
It's tendinitis that never goes away.
Got it. Thank
So
you.
you don't want to end up with tendinosis.
And so the TRT you're saying will make the tendinosis
Look,
worse.
this is not a study, but more guys are telling me, I started taking this stuff. I was doing great. Oh my God, I felt wonderful. They always tell me that one of the things is like someone cleaned my windshield. Every day is brighter. I'm having sex again like a teenager. Oh, I put on muscle much easier, and I'm beep bop boop. And then 2 years down the road, I was jogging and I pulled a patella, not a patella tendon, but an Achilles tendon. I was working out, weights, I pulled the bicep tendon. My ulna radialis, the doctor says it ripped. Now, was any of that happening before you took an exogenous hormone? No.
So
So
here's
there's
my
something
question
there.
about that.
Yeah. And by the
Is
way,
that because are they pushing harder than they should because they have the
maybe,
false sense of I can
maybe.
do more than I should do? Or is it because taking exogenous hormones might prevent like you're taking it, but you're not necessarily creating more receptors for those hormones to bind to. So somehow that
I
injures the
really
body.
don't. I wouldn't even want to guess. It could
Yeah.
be because they're going harder, and everything is not keeping up at the same rate.
Mm-hmm.
I've heard guys that have been on it for several years tell me, "Oh, my usually it's my Achilles tendons and this and that feel more brittle." I don't know if
Interesting.
there's any science behind that. I'm just telling you what
Hmm.
people tell me
Okay.
because I end up talking to people every day. This is not science what I'm giving right now. What is science is there is no free lunch in nature, and if you think you're getting away with something with that stuff, think again. Just take longer breaks. What's his name?
Okay.
Brian was his name?
Jim.
Jim. Jim, take longer breaks. And yes, I do suggest if you can get one of the Bond girls, they're few and far between. See if you could grab one. They're nice to have. I'm with one of the most beautiful women in the world. I look in the mirror and I can't understand why she's with me. I'm gonna be honest with you. It's like I get that.
You must have done something right.
Must be doing something right. Yeah.
On a totally different note,
Mm-hmm.
let's talk about food.
Okay. Is this a question from a listener?
Yes. There's a
Okay.
few here. I'm just sorting through with the
Well, there was something I really wanted to talk about, but Anna said no.
No,
I got
I didn't say no.
you couldn't wrap your head around it either. Is the problem? That was the problem we
Nor
both.
do I want to. I don't even want to give it life. It's so fucked up.
No, I know. I know. Ugh.
I
All right,
try
go
to pick questions to ask you that I think will help a wide group of people.
on. Okay.
So Gavin says, after being super successful NSNG for years, 2014 to 2020, we had a few very hard years and fell into old eating patterns and gained about 20 pounds back. Now trying to get back into NSNG, the new weight doesn't budge, which is very defeating. Is there a reason or something I'm missing? And I don't know anything about starting weight, height, age, or anything.
Wait a minute. So he's done this in fits and starts.
He said he was doing it solidly from 2014 to 2020. And then I guess got a COVID 20.
Yeah. Most people, I hear that all the time. COVID screwed us up, and I gained all the weight back.
I mean, it's been 4 years. It's time to come back, y'all. We got to do this.
A lot of times, because I'm on the phone with a lot of these. Hey, I started back, and I'm not losing weight the way I was before. I think they really forget what it was like before, right? That's when I tell people to recommit. Go get the PDF. Don't just read it. Print it out. Have copies of it. Have one at your desk at work. Have one next in the by your bed. Have one in the kitchen. Print it out and read through it. Don't read through it once. Read through it. Bookmark, earmark. Use a yellow pen. Highlight, because you'll start finding the things you're doing wrong.
Mm-hmm.
I'm always finding them whenever I do the consults. And I'm doing exactly what I was doing before, and it's just not working anymore. I just saw a tweet from a woman. We were talking about it last week. I think it was Pam, who we were talking about in the last show. And I just saw her tweet a little while ago, and she was like, "Hey, wow, we had the consult, and sure enough, I'm losing weight again because we figured out the 4 or 5 things that she was doing. And she was like, I'm doing everything right. I can't figure it out. It's
And
all
what were the 4 or 5 things?
I can't remember because since Pam, I've talked to 1,000 other people.
Overconsumption of cheese,
That's usually
overconsumption of nuts,
that's another one. That's usually the culprits. They'll,
sneaking the fries off of the plate of whoever you're with.
yeah, my kids, ba.
Yeah. Sneaking the chicken nuggets when you're microwaving the things for the kids. And by the way, I'm not judging, but that sounds horrible, but I get it.
No, you were carrying once. You know,
Of
it was
course,
fun.
there was and then you make listen, when we first started NSNG, I'm still making mac and cheese for my kid. She was
Yeah.
only 11 or 12 when we started this. So I make a little thing of the Annie's gluten-free mac and cheese. And I didn't even realize how I just blindly would put bites in my mouth.
Yeah. Because as my dad would say, it doesn't count if you're standing up in the kitchen. Right.
Well, I wasn't even trying to ascribe to that. I just think that like, you're just used to like, oh, okay, have bites of that. And you just give it to the kid. And you probably don't even clock all the times that you put something in your mouth. And then when you have a consult with Vinnie and you paid for it, you're like, oh, I should be more aware of what I'm doing. And you will be, you will.
Oh, look, I mean, you would be shocked. Another one is all of these almost soft drinks. It's like, no, it says 0 calories. It says nothing in it except, it's like, okay, why don't you just drink water? Well, this tastes better. Okay, you just said there was nothing in it. So obviously there's something in it, right? So people there's all kinds of categories that people fall into. And as soon as they get serious with it, the eating out is another big one, right?
Right.
The seed oils are not helping you whatsoever. We just had Kate Shanahan on the Friday show a couple of weeks ago. These seed oils are not doing anything for you at all, right? So you have to start looking at that.
And if you eat at restaurants, it is unavoidable. Like, I don't see how that you can have a restaurant meal without a little bit of seed oil, at least,
Yeah.
because they saute stuff in it. Sometimes you'll ask for a steak and you say, can you just season it and or they'll put, instead of olive oil in the pan, if they're making a piece of fish, they put seed oil in the pan. It's frustrating.
Yeah. No, it all is.
So
Go
yeah,
ahead.
all of those are typical things that can mess you up.
And the wine, people that, like
Oh yeah,
I've heard this
wine.
story
Yep.
so often where they'll, this one guy, he's a wine connoisseur. He lives up in your area, Anna, and it's, everything up there is wine.
Yeah.
And, the first time I spoke to him, he took me through his whole diet. And I went, okay, this guy eats as well as I do.
Mm-hmm.
And I live in ketosis. And, the one thing, I'm kind of paraphrasing a story, but he told me his triglycerides were well over 200, close to 300. And I was like,
Oh.
okay, how's that even possible if you're eating? So we went through it again. And then at the end, he goes, okay, now here's the part where I think you're going to hammer me. And I went, okay, what is it? I drink wine. Okay, how often? Every day. How much? If I'm being honest, over a bottle every day. I have it for lunch. Always have it with dinner. I'll have another glass after dinner. He goes, probably too much.
Lunch.
It's like, yeah, he lives in wine country. He works in that industry, by the way.
Yeah.
Right. So he's taking people out for lunch and he's doing this and that and the whole thing. And he was proudly telling me, I hold it to 2 glasses at lunch. I was proud of that.
God bless. I would be so hammered.
Super nice guy. Right. But, I'm sitting there going, okay, well, that answers the triglyceride situation. You got like a bucket of sugar going in every day. Bottom line, right?
Well, it's interesting too with wine, with wine labeling, they don't have to disclose anything but added sulfites. And sulfites it's so funny how the sulfites get the bad rap because like, that like a raisin or some celery has more sulfites
Right.
than a glass of wine. So it's not sulfites that are the enemy, but what is, most good winemakers will let the natural fermentation process happen and not add anything to it. But you still have the residual sugar in the bottle. Plus, you still have the fact that your liver will metabolize alcohol before anything else. So even if you're eating clean, if your liver's like overloaded, you'll definitely stall out no matter, even if you're drinking vodka sodas, so you really do have to watch overconsumption of alcohol. But even vodka sodas, it has calories, but it has no carbs or sugar. You still have to be careful. But what I found really interesting is that we're looking for a venue for one of an event that we're putting on. And a friend of mine's like, oh, let's go to this one winery. I almost named it. Let's go to this one winery. They have a good space. And being in wine country, the event is wine oriented. So when people come, we want the wine to be really good, but the venue's so great.
Right.
And I took one sip of the wine, Vinny, And I was like, oh my God. And this is supposed to be like a nice place. And I didn't say anything. And I just did the thing where I'm like, okay, I dump mostly anyway because I can't sip
Right.
wine and then, deal with my life. And afterwards, I spoke with my friend who is a winemaker. And she was like, oh, that had so much added sugar. And I was like, what? Like it
Right.
tasted like if you put Kool-Aid, not sangria sugar, but like a little bit of cherry Kool-Aid in a wine. And I was like, that's insane. It was a Cab Franc that tasted almost syrupy. You know what I'm saying? But not like a sangria. It wasn't fruity. It was so weird to taste it. I was like, this is so bad. And I couldn't pinpoint why. It just tasted extra sweet to me. And she said, oh
Why?
no, there are still winemakers at very nice wineries that will add the sugar. And I'm like, but why? The whole point is to let the natural air of where you are and the yeast that's naturally in the air ferment
Right.
the grapes and the stems. And so it's just, so if like, I would venture to say that's why something like Dry Farm Wines and companies like that like market like, hey, it's a lower sugar wine. It's the better for you wine. They're
Right.
really only marketing wine that's made properly, number one. But they're saying like, oh, we vetted all the things. And that's fine, whatever. But also, it's like, there's so much. I guarantee you, somebody who's not in wine country, who's in the middle of nowhere, and they get the wine, the cake bread sellers or the whatever um what's the Australian one that everybody drank all throughout the aughts?
Right.
Yellowtail or the one with the kangaroo on it.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah,
I
yeah. No,
guarantee you
yellowtail, I think, is
there's so much sugar added to the wine. So it's not just the 3 to 4 grams per glass of residual sugar. There is added sugar. And it's a shortcut, just like in food manufacturing. And it does not need to be disclosed on the label, which is insane to me.
wow. Wow. See,
More fuckery.
yeah. Look, I'm glad I'm not into it, right?
Yeah.
I'm just glad I'm not into it. And when I do drink wine, as you know, it's in Europe, and I don't think they mess around like that. And the kind of wine I'm getting is
I
for
have
my
not had wine
mostly.
like that in Europe. I think it's an American thing.
It's got to be. It's got to be. I mean,
It's gotta be. But I will tell you
it,
guys, when you get off of NSNG, and by the way, I think it's really strange how wine culture's just been totally normalized and like, mommy needs wine, like that kind of thing. And like,
yeah,
I wish it wasn't so prevalent in that way. And no shade on enjoying wine, but it doesn't need to be like your crutch or part of your identity. I just think that that's strange to me, I guess. But I think that when you have too much reliance on it, like you said, and you're drinking a whole bottle a night, that's a lot of wine. And
yeah.
I think one of the biggest lies we were sold in the past 20 years was a glass of wine and the resveratrol is good for you. So feel free to indulge. And it's like, it's still alcohol and it's still poison. Sorry.
You would have to have so much. You would have to have. I think somebody looked into it. You would have to drink like 2 bottles a night to get enough
Oh God, you'd be dead.
resveratrol to make a
Your
difference.
liver would crash.
Yeah,
Your
yeah.
liver, I guarantee you, do that for 2 years and see what your liver panel
I
does.
remember someone telling me, but resveratrol, it's like, you can take it as a supplement if you're that into
Right.
it.
The concentrate.
Yeah, just go
And
take
also
it.
too, when you go with NSNG and then you go back and taste wine, it tastes really, even though stuff that hasn't been messed with, it tastes really sweet. I guarantee you it's not going to taste as good, but you have to spend some time off of it.
Yeah, yeah. It's all crazy. I'm shocked that they actually add sugar to it.
Oh my, I couldn't believe it.
Even
This is
though
like a
wine
reputable place,
is,
like right off 154 that people stop and it's
yeah.
always crowded. And like, there's certain places where you're like, oh, that's super tourist. This is like, I don't know. I was just, and then they were like, oh yeah, this place does it. This place does it. I was like, that's
You see that's America.
appalling.
Yeah, it's like more and more sugar. Figure out another way to get sugar in people. Let's put it in wine. But I saw this coming because you look at everything else we're doing, right?
Right.
You have everybody, I used to see Tallulah and what her friends drank, right? It
Oh
was all
yeah. For teenagers, you get them hooked on a sweet drink.
yeah, sweet, and it comes in a can, right? White Claw this, and
Yeah. Well,
all
they
these.
did it with my generation with the Bartles and James and the Mickey's Big Mouth. They would make sweet, sweet
What was
drinks that targeted
there was another
teenagers,
one,
basically.
Mike's Lemonade. You
Mike's
remember
Hard
that?
Lemonade. Yep.
Yeah, they've been figuring that out for years.
So now it's twisted tea because my he's not little anymore. He's like 6'4". My nephew
Yeah.
at Georgia is like they buy giant cases of twisted tea and then have frat parties, which is
Yeah.
what they should do. But
Everything is just more and more
it's
sugar
a lot.
all the time. So no, it all drives me crazy. But what are you going
So
to do?
those are some things that Gavin and anybody out there who's listening. Now, let me just ask this quick follow up, and then I know we got to wrap it up. Let me just ask a quick follow up question. Pam says, and this is short, no stevia, even the liquid clear stevia drops?
Real whole stevia is not permitted to be sold in the United States per the FDA.
Why? What's real whole stevia? What do you mean? The
It's like
leaf?
yeah, when they say this is real stevia and blah blah, it's some bastardized version of stevia. That's number one.
Highly processed stevia leaf?
Yeah, I don't understand how
Okay.
stevia works, but it's not even legal to get the real stuff in the U.S.
Mm.
So anything you're getting that's real stevia or whatever, it's some bastardized version of it. That's number one. Number two, it's the methadone clinic. You're still on a drug, right? If you start with the stevia, next thing you know, you're doing everything else, right? Or it drives you to want to have everything else. If you think you can have stevia and you want to have that crap and you want to do it, do I think it's going to really hurt you? If you're doing everything else 1,000% correct, probably not.
Mm.
I'm not a fan. You would never catch me doing it. You would never catch me having stevia.
I guess the question is the distinction of asking yourself how badly do you need something sweet that you would need to have something with stevia? Because if you truly get off of the either artificial sweetener or sugar substitute train, so you get off sugar first, right? Then you
Mhm.
get off the things for if you're not, this is assuming you're not going cold turkey, because if somebody's asking the stevia question, it tells me they're still having something sweet. And the thing is that I felt when you said don't do stevia back in 2012, what I felt was an overwhelming sense of relief because I hate the taste of stevia. To me, it tastes awful. So I was like,
That's the other thing. I don't
great.
understand who's liking this stuff.
Well, you don't like it. I don't think you just tolerate it because you want that sweet feeling. So it's a difference between like, can I have it? You're like, sure, it shouldn't hurt if you're, but why would you want it? So I guess that's the question to answer. Like, well, I want it because of this.
And look,
Whatever your reason is, you're an adult. You get to pick. I'm just posing that question.
I'm going to be perfectly candid here. As you know, I've mentioned it several times on this podcast. I'm a sugar addict, right? And Bonzo. He had to come over and say hi. Anna thinks you're dumb, Bonzo, because you're big.
Yeah.
At any rate, I'm a
I
sugar
still love
hog.
him and I squeeze his butt.
Yeah, you can't squeeze his butt anymore.
I would love to. His little badonkadonk that he had going when he was a puppy. I
Yeah, he
squeeze
kind of
it.
shakes it back and forth when he
Yeah.
walks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like ba-boom, 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 and I
Yeah.
squeeze it till I just grab it.
Yeah, it's kind of fun to grab. So look, I'm a sugar addict, right? And once I completely got away from sugar and started tasting other things
Mm-hmm.
and realizing, there's other flavor out there, sugar really does hide the flavor of everything.
It does. And it will taste super cloying when you go back to it and you taste like a regular thing that you used to eat that was sweetened by sugar. You'd be like, oh, yeah.
Yeah. So the quicker you can get away from it, the better. Just bottom line, right? So I would say, you want to rip that Band-Aid off as quickly as possible. That's the way I would do it.
I think
That's just me.
the last thing I put stevia, actually, I think the only thing I put stevia in, because I never cooked with it or baked with it. Although I think they were just coming out with Truvia, back then, which is the bakeable form of stevia, which now they have erythritol and monk fruit and all sorts of combinations of that stuff with stevia. And it all tastes terrible now that I've been off of sugar for 12 years. But back then, I remember I got the little thing of stevia that had a little cocaine spoon in it from Trader Joe's, and I would put half of that in my coffee because I still thought I couldn't handle the bitterness of coffee. And now that is long gone. But I think I hear that from people going, I can't do coffee without something sweet in there. And I would venture to say, I bet you can.
Yeah, you could do everything without sugar in it. And when you start developing a palate, you may start realizing that your palate is way more sophisticated than you ever thought it was, right? So, you know, do that. I mean, look, we're getting ready to do a Villa Capelli ad, and people say, "Oh, olive oil is just olive oil." You can actually start tasting what's in olive oil if you just develop that. You can start tasting the nuances in coffee if you just develop that palate,
That's right.
right? People, the aforementioned wine, people figure it out with wine. I can't imagine drinking wine with extra sugar and trying to figure out, all of the nuances of that wine, right? But there you have it. I mean, there are foods where you can taste different things, but you're not going to taste them if you're dummying up everything with sugar. And that's one of the things I learned about getting away from sugar. You can start tasting food the way it's meant to be tasted.
Vinny, we got 1 week left right now on cherry season. 1 week. By end of June, the cherries will not be good. But you know what?
Yeah.
Now I can enjoy my cherries in peace, have a couple of rounds of cherries, be done in a 10-day window, and I'm done. And I enjoy it, and it's great. I don't think that I would taste those cherries as strongly.
Look, cherries, I remember as a kid, cherries came around a certain time of year, tomatoes came around, Vidalia onions came around.
Mm-hmm.
There was peach season. There was
Yep.
apples in the fall. You would never eat an apple in the summer, though, mealy and bad. Now that we have
Well, if you have
refrigerator,
apples in the summer, they're from last fall, guys. They've been in cold storage.
or they came in from Chile and they had them in Chile, and they never taste right anymore. Fruits used to have a season.
Yeah.
Vegetables had a season. Avocados had a season. Now you get avocados year round, right? They come from Mexico. They come from Chile. They come from all these different places. But that's just the way it is,
Yeah.
right? We have everything all the time, and it's not doing us well at all. Folks, Villa Capelli olive oil,
Ooh, it's so good.
listen, you need this stuff. You need this stuff. You want this stuff.
It's
You
back
have
in
to have
stock.
this stuff. It is in stock. And look, I feel Steven's pain when it's out of stock. He just sent me a 55-gallon drum so I can go make some more vitamin D. By the way,
Ooh.
his product wasn't the problem of us getting the vitamin D. It was all the other stuff. As a matter of fact, that while we were podcasting, a message came in. I've already ordered more vitamin D, and we just got our shipment in. So, yeah, Villa Capelli. I believe in this product. I use it at my vitamin company. I use it in my food here. I drink it right from a little shot glass. I love me some Villa Capelli. You're going to love Villa Capelli too. Now, I was talking on a podcast the other day. Someone gave me my brother, oh my God, this is incredible olive oil. And it was, Anna. It was some incredible olive oil. It was delicious. It tasted good. It came from Greece or somewhere. It was 325 milliliters, which means it was not even a 750
Right.
milliliter.
It was a third of that.
Yeah,
So it was a half of that.
yeah, it was whatever half is. What is
Yeah,
that?
I'm good at math. Half of that.
So the price tag happened to be on it underneath, and I looked at it. It was over $40. I mean,
Really?
yeah, for that small amount, but it was the best oil in the world. It was not. It was as good as Villa Capelli. It had that pinch. It had the whole thing. You could
Right.
taste it all. It was delicious olive oil, but at a crazy price. At a crazy price, folks. You want to get the best olive oil on the planet? Villa Capelli olive oil. That's all we use around here, except for when my brother gives me free olive oil. Listen, you want this stuff. You want to get Villa Capelli, and you can save by putting in promo code Vinnie, VINNIE, 10% off. If you spend $140 minus the discount, you'll be above 125. Steven will actually throw shipping in for free. 2 ways to save at Villa Capelli. Let them know we
Here's
sent you.
here's what I would say. If you look under spices, they have 3 new products there that I'm dying to try. If you scroll down to spices, they have basil pesto, zucchini pesto, and eggplant pesto. If you try one of each of those plus a 3-liter tin, you've got it. You're ready to go.
Boom.
Oh,
There you go.
you would be so happy. And then get the lemon sea salt. That stuff's so good.
Yeah. Get it all. Villa Capelli is where you want to go. It's an incredible company. We've been running ads for them now for about 10, 12 years. By the way,
Yeah.
have they paid us this month?
No, I
Anna,
don't think they have.
yeah, we need to hit them up. Get paid because we're doing
Yeah.
free ads now, folks. So go ahead and do that. Anna Vocino, go check out eathappykitchen.com and Eat Happy Substack at Beppa. What is that, Anna? What's the Substack thing?
AnnaVicino.substack.com. And I'll be honest with you, Vinny. I am
Mm.
going to start transitioning this Substack into mostly paid
Oh, she
content
locked
and the
up.
occasional free content. Because
Well,
there's
this show has been
so
something
much.
else. Let's see if Anna comes back.
What is happening?
Oh, you locked up, Anna. You were getting ready to say something really cool and you locked up.
I don't think it was really cool. I think it's actually bad news. I'm going to transition my Substack to mostly paid content and the occasional free content.
Right.
And but guess how much it is, Vinny?
A couple of bucks.
It's $5 a month. Or if you pay for the year, it's $4 a month.
Or as we like to say, less than one stop at Starbucks.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. But it's where I post all of any new recipe that's, unless it's in a book, it's going to be at annavicino.substack.com.
Go check that out. You know what to do with me. Rate and review this podcast. If you're going to buy something on Amazon, go to vinnietorres.com first. If the movie's not out when this comes out, I won't be around anymore. I'm going to just slip my wrist. But if the movie's out, go to
Don't do that. You just went through chemo.
Yeah, I've had enough. Go to vinnietorres.com and get to Amazon. You can maybe find the movie if Amazon gets off their fat ass and actually puts it up there.
Get off your fat ass, Amazon.
Yeah, come on, Amazon. What are you doing? Anna reminded me of this song during the show, so we will play it on the way out. On behalf of Anna Vocino, my name is Vinnie Tortorich. Put life into living, and let's do it with Mr. Trace Atkins.